Hi there. This is just a quick video to demonstrate my answer to a question that was posted to one of the videos earlier on this morning. The question was, is it possible to detect if a live score data feed is available? Now, there isn't a condition that does that specifically, asks that question, but you can simulate it. So if I pull in the strategy editor, I've set up this demo here that uses this one rule. So if you set up a rule, I've just called it check if a live score feed is present, and you configure it to only be active during the first portion of the match. I've chosen a 5-minute window. You might want to play around with that, specifically if you want to get involved in the market in the first 5 minutes. The reason for giving that window is to allow Fairbot time to make a connection to their live score data feed provider. And that may take just a few seconds. It might take 2 or 3 minutes, depending on the match and so on. So I would leave it to set to 5 minutes. But as I say, you may want to play around with that window. The action itself is going to be dummy. This rule isn't going to do anything. It's just set up to check if a feed is available. And the conditions are these. The important one is to use one of the market football conditions, i.e. one of these boys. The football number of goals one is probably the most obvious one to use. And the reason for that is that obviously a goal can be scored during that window, that 5-minute window as I've configured it. And so you don't want the presence of a goal messing up with the detection of the data score feed, sorry, the score data feed. So what will this do? Essentially, because this depends on the live data feed, if a live data feed is not present, it will cause an error. And if there's an error, that means that this rule will not execute. So the execute count will remain at 0. If, however, a live data feed is available, that will obviously recognize that and it will specify how many goals there are. Doesn't matter in our case. All it's doing is it's effectively made a confirmed connection to the data feed. And as a result, this rule will execute. So you've now got a condition where you have a rule that will either give you a 0 or a 1, which you can then use in subsequent rules to confirm or stop something that you want to happen, a bet going in or whatever it might be. So let me just show you basically what that will do. Now, given that, generally speaking, any football match has a live data feed. So it could be a couple of weeks before I find another one that doesn't have a live data feed. What I'm actually going to do is assign this to the next race at Goodwood. Now obviously it's not going to have a live data feed, but it will let you see the kind of error that you get. Now the error that you get isn't going to be the same error that you'll get when you've assigned this to a football match and the data feed isn't there. But let me just pause the video until this race is underway. Okay, the race is off and running, and you'll see we have a condition error. It is not a football market. Obviously, if this strategy was assigned to a football match, that's not the error that would come up. It would actually say condition error, data feed not available, or words to that effect. The important point being is because there's been an error caused by this condition here, this rule cannot execute. So its execution count will remain 0 out of 1. And you can obviously use that in subsequent rules to determine whether you place a bet or not. Obviously, if there wasn't a condition error, and this was a football match obviously, and the live data feed was indeed available, there wouldn't be an error, and so this would execute immediately and it would be 1 of 1. And again, you could then use that condition to go off and do something else within the football match. Okay, so although there's not a specific condition that says check if there's a live data feed available, you can use what's there to essentially do the same thing. Okay, hope you found that useful, guys. I'll see you in the next one.